So our film this week is the long-awaited Napoleon by Ridley Scott.
I thought you were just going to say the long Napoleon then, because it certainly was that
the
too.
The long Napoleon. Matt, what's the plot?
Oh, God. I only saw it like 4 days ago. Right. So it starts off with me walking into the screening in pitch black while everyone else is watching Marie Antoinette getting murdered, getting executed, and I'm trying to find my seat, and everyone, and they're singing some French song in the background, and probably I think there's some text on screen. I didn't get a chance to read that. I didn't want to trip up on the stairs. Anyway, she gets her head chopped off. I don't think that's really relevant at all, but maybe it is. I don't know. Like I said, I joined late. Anyway, Napoleon watched that, and it's like a soldier. It's very unclear like what rank he is near the start. Anyway, he does a siege.
Funny you should say that, because it starts with a screen of text explaining what Napoleon is doing at the point.
That would probably help
like
me.
a young commandant or something, a young soldier aiming for a promotion. That's what it says.
Because the first like battle is like a siege, and I thought like, oh, he's just like some random soldier, and then at the end they're like congratulating him as if he like won it for everyone, and it's like, what about? I thought he was just like a private. But yeah, so he does some siege that goes really well. He becomes emperor. And he just does loads of battles, fires a shitload of cannons, and he just, gets more and more successful and kills loads of people in war. And he also, in his personal life, he like fancies a woman, like basically makes her marry him, and he just has lots of very awkward to watch sex scenes with her. And that's Napoleon, the movie, and it's not very historically accurate either.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what we should do about spoilers for this, because obviously
he's a real fella.
It's Napoleon. So if you want to learn about him, go and read about him, because it happened.
I mean, to be fair, going in, I didn't know that much about Napoleon. I knew that he loved war. I thought he had like an arm. I thought he like missing an arm, and he had his hand in his jacket. Or is that someone else?
I think he had an illness towards the end, and that's why he had his hand in there all the time.
But that was not in the movie at any point.
No.
And I know that he's supposedly short, although I actually knew that that's a misconception, maybe propaganda made up by...
I think it's a British propaganda.
Yeah, because I think he was about 5'8" in real life, which is taller than basically all his soldiers. And I knew that he fought in the Battle of Waterloo. I didn't know who won the Battle of Waterloo, but considering the fact that French never like successfully invaded us after 1066, I think I probably could have hazarded a guess. But that was it. I mean, I just knew he was some French fella. I knew he was emperor, and that was it. Oh, I knew he put the crown on his own head. So it was I didn't know what was happening at the end. So maybe we shouldn't ruin the very ending, because I didn't know it was coming. And maybe non-French people might not.
So, as you kind of touched on at the start there, it's being talked about for its historical inaccuracies more than anything, I would say.
Yeah.
It's quite a long film, shorter than The Hunger Games, which we'd like to say. It doesn't feel...
It's about 2.5 hours.
I think it's longer by like 8 minutes, The Hunger Games. So yeah, as you said, it starts at the Siege of Toulon, which was where Napoleon was able to have his first kind of big victory at this siege at a port town that those dastardly British were holding.
What are they like?
And that kind of starts his ascent through the army, and eventual rise into emperor. What do you think about kind of the history and the talk about the inaccuracies in this film?
Well, see, it does. Even though don't pretend to be a historian, I like to watch biopic to learn things. I want it to be accurate, and I mean, you can do things like Rocket Man or Hamilton or something, where it's like we know that there's like certain bits that are like clearly, Alexander Hamilton wasn't rapping. He wasn't doing rap battles. In
No,
the
he
Senate.
was.
Like, oh, was he?
He was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just assumed that he didn't. That makes sense. Why Lin-Manuel Miranda did it like that then?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyway, I'm watching that next week in the West End.
Ooh.
Maybe quite fun, hopefully. What was I bloody saying? Oh yeah, I think it's all right in movies to do stuff like that when we know like what's true and what's not. But this movie is so like, I guess, naturalistic and so like it feels like it ought to be accurate. That when you get told things that aren't true, it sort of feels a bit more like the betrayal of the storytelling. For what a biopic is. I just don't really like it when they do that. And also, most of the time, it's just unnecessary. Like, did Marie Antoinette need to have hair when she got executed in the movie? Like, because she didn't in real life, it was cut off her. It's just like dumb things.
The visual, wasn't it, of holding her up, like by the hair.
Yeah, but I think it would make her look more like downtrodden and how more helpless if it was like cut off her.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I thought that was stupid. And like him firing on the pyramids, like it looked cool, but
ridiculous. So that's actually something I was going to bring up.
Well, I will say the opposite of what I literally just said is the best part of the movie was that battle in the snow when they all fall into the lake. That did not happen in real life. So
Didn't it?
No, it didn't. There's no big lake there. I don't even think it was in snow. All the paintings of that battle aren't snowy at all. But,
that was a very cool sequence.
That was a really cool sequence. It was better than anything else in the movie. The battles in general were the best part, without doubt.
Yeah, big time.
Because Waterloo was really good as well.
But yeah, talking about that pyramid shot, I think that's a good point to talk about Ridley Scott and some of the heat
he said
something
about that.
So that was brought up to him in an interview actually about the pyramids, and they said, well, there's no evidence that Napoleon ever visited the pyramids.
No, he did.
Shot at the pyramids.
He did fight in the Battle of the Pyramids, but it was like in the pyramids were like in the distance. They weren't like right next to him.
And they asked, why did you do that? Because it's not true. And he said, because the visual of him firing at the pyramids is a very clear and easy to understand image that he took Egypt. And as a filmmaker, that is fair enough. And I think the film is filled with moments like that. Unspoken like character beats or ways to convey information because it's so fast. It spans over such a long time.
He did a lot of stuff in his life, and there's only so much. Apparently, they're doing like a 4-hour cut on.
Are they?
Is it Apple they're releasing it on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently so. I don't know if it's the sort of thing that would be better as a miniseries, though. Things don't have to be movies. Killers of the Flower Moon, I was kind of at times like, you don't have, just because you're Martin Scorsese and movies are like your thing, you can make a miniseries.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't know, something like this maybe would have been better for it.
Ridley Scott was kind of asked all these questions, and I don't know if you've seen any of the interviews.
Yeah, he said some crazy shit on the press junket. Yeah,
he's been telling people like that. Interviewers have been asking him, "What do you say to these people who have been calling out the historical inaccuracies of Napoleon?" And he said things like, "Get a life," and "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, he said the French hate themselves, so like, why would you care about what they think?
He was asked like, why didn't you go away and read up on this yourself? And gave an answer like, "That's not my job. That's what a screenwriter and a researcher does."
Yeah, it's just his job to film it.
In the same conversation as Martin Scorsese, I think it's really interesting that they've both had big films releasing this year, both big kind of historical epics in their own way, but handled very differently. And I think the response to Ridley Scott releasing this and its historical inaccuracies and the way it holds film and storytelling above all else compared to Scorsese's, which is very respectful.
In all of like the interviews with Scorsese, you'd be saying about how he, talked to the Osage people, and he had loads of he hired real like Native American chiefs in the movie, and they would like be consultants, and it was a very different approach that he took.
So it's interesting because they're both these long time spanning films. They cover such a long time, and they both have these like emotional hearts at the center, which drives them through. Yeah. They're the kind of plots where you would say, why is that relevant? Cut it out. Yeah. But like if you got rid of Napoleon and Josephine, although it's not arguably the most interesting thing about him, you're not caring about him. You're not caring about what he's going through. You're not giving him that drive to do what he does.
Yeah.
And what do you think about the fact Scorsese is heralded as the father of auteurs, and Scott is like always shot down, having released like 4 films in the time that Scorsese has made Flower Moon?
I know, yeah, God, because he was saying a similar. I mean, Ridley Scott, he kind of gets on my nerves a bit. I mean, we know people who worked on this film and have not entirely been positive
stories
about
horror stories.
the filmmaking, about their time on it. But I think Ridley Scott's kind of just a grumpy old man these days. I remember when The Last Duel came out, and no one watched it because no one knew it existed because it had no marketing, and he blamed it on millennials on their telephones. It's like, no, it's because no one knew it existed.
He pulled a David Lynch.
Yeah. I mean, I actually liked The Last Duel. I thought it was pretty good. But it's everyone watched like House of Gucci, which came out about a week later, because it had the silly accents and the sort of meme potential.
Had Jared Leto in it.
Jared Leto in it doing a Mario voice. I never watched it actually because it looked shit and it's really long. But I heard it wasn't that great. But he's been like that for. This isn't a new thing that he doesn't care about historical accuracy. Gladiator. I mean.
Yeah,
there's no thought put into it. He just wants to make a movie that's epic, which I get because I did as my final year uni film. I did basically we wanted to make something that was sort of, I guess it needlessly impressive, just so we could say that we did it. And so we were like, well, what cool sets can we get? We thought, well, if we do a biopic, we can see what like old buildings do we have in the area? Well, there's a big metal industry in the West Midlands, and so we went to Black Country Museum. We spoke to the historians, and they told us about the women's chainmaker strike, and it was a really interesting story. And so we thought, okay, we'll do a film about that. I literally worked at a museum that had a old chainmaker shop. So I was like, well, we'd film there, and we asked some other places for like the streets. We can do that. And I wrote the script as because we originally just wanted to make a historical thing and just do all the cliches and have a bit of fun with it, and do whatever. And then having the responsibility of having it set in a real period did kind of get on my nerves because I wanted to just do what I wanted to do. And we did send the script to a historian who then ripped it to shreds and just crossed everything. I'm really angry. The way I interpreted it, she wasn't very happy about how I wrote it. But then I did mostly appease her. But I also was like, yeah, but these are fictional characters. This isn't like the setting's real, but I don't care. And so I get where Ridley Scott comes from. Historians saying you can't do this does kill the filmmaking process, and it is really annoying when you're trying to just do a creative thing that will entertain the audience. So I get it. But
exactly. If you wanted to watch a film about Napoleon, go and watch a documentary. Yeah. If you want to learn about him, go and watch a documentary. If you want to watch a film,
like an IMAX film where you watch a big battle like that. Yeah. I do understand.
If you want to see it come to life, and you want a real understanding of what it may have been like in those times and what he as a person, as a character may have been, go and watch Napoleon. If you want to learn about everything Napoleon did, all of his wars and all of his tactics and all of his strategies, go and read a book, you nerd.
And I actually will say, because it's in the news so much about the inaccuracies, I do this after every biopic I watch. I then go and find an article about what was true and what wasn't. So I actually find out anyway. I don't leave it thinking false facts, because I go in and see so it turns out this wasn't real. Oh, this is interesting. Why didn't they include that sort of thing? So I actually still did learn a lot about Napoleon. It was just mostly from articles, and also my mate Dan in the car on the way back explaining the first act, because I didn't know what was going on, but he knows history a bit. Because I thought so I did enjoy the film, but I thought the bits leading up to him becoming emperor were definitely the weakest part. I didn't know what was going on. It was all. Have you ever seen Downfall, the Hitler film about his last few hours in the bunker? The one where the memes from where he's screaming.
Yes, I have. Yeah, the German one.
Yeah. So I watched about an hour of that.
Bro, when he's screaming about that one maths exam I took, about how hard it was, I was like, man, Hitler, you're right, my friend. Hitler, you're right, my friend. Hitler, you're right, my friend.
Yeah, he nailed that.
AQA 2016 was hard.
So, when I was watching that, I was like, okay, I'm not German. I don't know German history that well. I'm being introduced to loads of characters, all of whom are middle-aged white men in very similar-looking uniforms. I don't know what these ranks are. I don't know the hierarchy of this. I don't know these characters' names. I don't remember them. They're not names I'm familiar with. And they're not actors I'm familiar with. They're not faces I'm familiar with. So I was just I don't know what's happening. I don't know who's who. I don't know who's boss, who's been told to do what their names are. And I was like that a fair bit at the start, to a lesser extent, because there's not as many characters in that. But there was like all the characters know each other really well. And if you're French or you know history, you know what's going on. I don't feel like I had a clue for certain bits. Like the bits, there's like a courtroom bit. I don't know what's going on in that.
Yeah,
they try and arrest a guy and he shoots himself in the face.
Yeah,
who's that?
Yeah, its strong points aren't any characters outside of Napoleon and Josephine. They are the only characters who have a relationship.
They're the only like
every other character.
Everyone else is yeah.
Everyone else rocks up and is like, "Hello, I'm a French general. This is what I did at this point in history, and here's some exposition."
Yeah, Napoleon and Josephine are the only two with like character arcs and reasons for you to invest in them, and you learn about their personal lives and all this. Yeah, everyone else is just, I'm the general in this battle, and I'm the general in this battle. I'm the king. I'm a different king. And something that I do think, so in the Hunger Games last week, we talked about how they're always saying that Corio is like this marketing genius, and we don't see him do anything really except for say to Lucy Greybeard, you should sing a song right now. Like, in this, you are absolutely shown why Napoleon is such a like genius of warfare. Like that snowy bit, especially like the way he's come up with a strategy, that was very, very well done. As like, oh, I get why this guy is the big deal that he is. It's not just that he was born into like extreme wealth, although he was, contrary to what the poster says, he was very rich to start off with. He didn't come from nothing.
So what did you think about the performances in this?
Good. Everyone was good. I mean, there was no, I wouldn't say Oscar for anyone.
No, I would agree. Well, you know what? Shout at me if you think I'm wrong. I think Joaquin was miscast in this. I thought...
Okay.
I understand.
I think there could have been someone better, but I thought he was good.
Yeah, so something that I wasn't expecting about this film was that it was funnier than I'd expected going in.
It was, yeah.
There were some like pretty funny moments in there. And I don't know if that's... Some of the casting was very absurd, and some of the arrests of the council were very absurd.
Yes, I was going to talk about that. We were dying laughing because there's a bit where it almost sounds like he's quoting the "Get Your Hands Off My Penis" video. You know, the like, this is democracy manifest. That one. There's like a guy who, when they're arresting him, he goes like, "But I'm eating my succulent breakfast."
Yeah.
And it was
exactly. So,
like, it's got me and Alistair and Dan just burst out laughing.
It's got really weird, like, beats like that you wouldn't expect from a big Napoleon war film, like an epic. And I just felt like Joaquin was too much at points. I thought there were really nice moments where he was taking it more seriously, and he has the range to be more serious. Yeah. But I don't know if it was the direction then that it just goes a bit too far.
I'd say I enjoyed them quite a lot. I'm quite glad it was the way it was. I think I would have been quite bored if it didn't have those moments, because all the bits at home, like with Josephine, are, you know, they have the potential to be pretty boring, and I think the odd bits of comedy kind of made it good. But it is also. It is. I get what you're saying, because like Josephine's story is so serious, like her life is so serious. She is treated pretty badly by Napoleon throughout the whole movie.
And she doesn't have any funny moments like that. It's just in his performance.
Just him, I get what you're saying, like, because there was like a sort of funny bit where he's like barking like a dog almost to like say how horny he is to get all the servants out of the room, and it's like this is like a funny scene, but he's basically saying like, I want to rape her right now, and so it's sort of, I don't know if it's really the right time and place for it.
Something that I did like, it's a theme throughout, is almost Napoleon's isolation at the start, and then throughout just about being how great he is, which is kind of the big thing, how no one can compare to him.
Yeah.
And I think with Phoenix being the only American in it, although you may immediately think that's stupid because everyone else is either French or British, that leans into that unique isolation feel that it just kind of feels off.
Yeah.
The fact that he's speaking in a completely different accent to everyone else.
I think you're
that's
right.
not in keeping with the time. What did you think about the old wars? I thought they were bloody horrific.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And I'm not talking about the behind the scenes bloody thing we've heard.
My favorite, the best bit of the movie was when he opened fire the cannons on that crowd. That was sick. They just like exploded into pieces. That was really cool. I tell you what, in like movies, I've always hated how they've had to like movieify a historic battle. Like they'll have people don't have shields, for instance. I mean, this was past that time, but I mean, in old battles in movies, they wouldn't have a shield, they wouldn't have a helmet because you want to see the actor and you want to have them seem badass with just fine with a sword. They do stupid shit like that. And in this, it's so like the battle, the way they fight seems pretty accurate to me. Like their battle formations and how like
like the Waterloo, like, especially.
That's what I mean, Waterloo. The British like just form a circle, and then the French just circling them, like, and they're just sort of stabbing each other. And I thought like that. Ridley Scott shot it so well that it looks so dramatic. It's so well done, but it is on paper. You would think this is boring to watch, but it wasn't at all.
Maybe a bit controversially, I would say that Ridley Scott could have made Killers of the Flower Moon, but Scorsese couldn't have made Napoleon because of direction like that.
I don't think Ridley Scott could have done Killers of the Flower Moon. He's too much about
I think
spectacle.
He could have done it.
No, he just makes like movies that will be like epic to watch, and that I don't think he. No, I don't think he could. I don't think he'd take Molly seriously. I don't think so.
Let me get up, just out of interest, Ridley Scott's oeuvre.
And if anything, I actually think Scorsese could probably do a Napoleon film.
Yes, but not the. I don't think he could do the war stuff the way Ridley Scott does.
Not the battles, no.
Like, no. But Ridley Scott does do character well.
Characters in a room talking.
When he's given a script,
he does.
That has good character. He can do it.
Just character. Like The Martian lives and dies by like Mark Watney, the character.
And Blade Runner, and Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, true. That's true.
What else have we got here?
But those are still like, they're not serious biopics about like a tragedy, like a racial-based tragedy which needs to be handled with care. Those are like...
Oh, it wouldn't be respectful. No way, Jose.
No.
But he could do it. It wouldn't be what it is, but he could do it, I would say.
I don't think it would be as good as Scorsese by a long shot.
There'd be an epic shootout.
Oh yeah, there would be. There would be.
There'd be some more gunslinging than in the one we actually got.
Well, I'm all for that. I like to see squibs. There were some good squibs in this.
There were great squibs. But arguably the biggest jump scares in this were by Ben Miles.
I know. So we should probably say we worked with Ben Miles on Hijack on Apple TV. Yeah. That's how us two met. Ben Miles plays, I don't know his name,
Captain
one of the generals.
Robin Allen.
No, I know it was Robin
in
Allen.
this.
I was a stand-in PA on that, and I acted the very last shot of the whole thing we filmed. I was in Ben Miles' costume, doubling for him because his double wasn't available. So, if we can I put on the screen now a photo of me dressed as Ben Miles?
Gasp! There he is.
Go. Look, there's me.
Look at him go.
Don't I look silly?
I'm just trying to get up Ben Miles' character in Napoleon. Colin Kocht.
That's it. Yeah, and a canonical.
So yeah, Ben Miles, that was quite scary, and Kevin Eldon was in this as well.
Kevin Eldon was also in Hijack, but I didn't notice him in the movie. I just saw his name in the credits.
Yeah, he was the doctor. He was the doctor with Josephine.
Oh, okay.
Napoleon goes to him and is like, "Can you say this baby's from Josephine?" And he's going to say no. That was Kevin Eldon.
Okay, I didn't recognise him. I did recognise Miles Jupp, though. I was like, what the hell is Archie the Inventor from Ballamori doing in this movie?
Yeah.
That was really
with a
weird.
Dutch accent.
Yeah, like he's just a comedian. He's goes on Mock the Week and stuff. That was really, really weird to see him in Napoleon.
Yeah, so Napoleon, have you got anything else?
Yeah, I don't think so. Should we rate it?
Go on then.
3.5. Between 3 and 3.5. I might, it could be 3.
What would bump it up?
Just being better.